The condensation on the window's finally gone, revealing the oak tree shivering on the lawn. I haven't moved the chair you used for reading. The silence in the kitchen is receding into a hum I didn't notice when you spoke, like a heavy winter coat that finally broke. The dust is settling on the mantelpiece in a slow and silver steady state release, and I'm just watching how the light hits the floor. It's just so quiet now, it's just so quiet now. The loudest thing I've ever heard is the space between every word. It's just so quiet now. The mail is stacking up beside the door, coupons for a life we don't live anymore. I found a single earring in the rug, a tiny silver ghost I couldn't shrug. I put it in the drawer with all the rest of the things that didn't pass the final test. The air is thinning as the sun goes down. The shadows stretch across this part of town, and I'm just one who know I'm waiting for. It's just so quiet now, it's just so quiet now. The loudest thing I've ever heard is the space between every word. It's just so quiet now. I thought the noise was what I had to fear, the arguments, the ringing in my ear, but the static was a blanket. I see it plain, it's the absence that is fueling the rain. I forgot that I could hear myself think. It's just so quiet now, it's just so quiet now. The loudest thing I've ever heard is the space where you were preferred. It's just so quiet now. Yeah, it's just so quiet now. The clock in the hall just skipped a beat. The cedar chest still smells of wool and rain, a map of every year and every stain. Your heavy sweater's folded on the top. I held it till I felt the world just stop. The wood is cool against my fingertips, like the ghosts of words that never left our lips. There's a comfort in the things that stay, while the rest of us just drift away. Hold on to the weight of it, the heavy and the light, the way the cedar smoke remains long after the fire dies tonight.
The coffee's bitter and the house is cold. The stories that we planted are growing old. I watch the spider weave across the frame of the picture where you still forget my name. It's funny how the physical survives the wreckage of our two colliding lives. There's a comfort in the things that stay, even when I wish they drift
smoke remains long after the fire dies tonight. Maybe we're just vessels for the scent of everywhere the other person went. I am wearing your habits like a skin. I don't know where I end and you begin. Hold on to the weight of it,
The heavy and the light,
the way the cedar smoke remains
in the middle of a winter
a delicate piano, walls high register trills that sound like water droplets. There's a smudge of your thumb on the water glass. I'm watching the hours and the shadows pass. I can't bring myself to rinse it clean, to wipe away the last of what I've seen. The sink is full, the afternoon is gray. I'm curating the debris of the day. I'm keeping the ghost, I'm guarding the door. I'm learning to love what isn't here anymore. The dent in the pillow is starting to fade. The bed is a debt that will never be paid. The toothpaste tube is squeezed in the middle, a tiny domestic unsolvable riddle. I'm living in the margins of the frame, still whispering the syllables of your name or rhyming. Yeah, the green might break and that's a risk I'm not prepared to take. I'm keeping the ghost, I'm guarding the door. I'm learning to love what isn't here anymore. The world keeps turning at a terrifying pace while I'm frozen in the contours of your face. I'm an anchor at the bottom of a lake, waiting for the ice to finally break up. I'm keeping the ghost, I'm guarding the door. I'm learning There's a half-eaten apple on the side of the sink, turning brown in the time it takes me to think. You always left things halfway through a book, a film, a how do you do. The tea is cold, the bag is still in. The smallest loss is where I begin. I'm collecting the pieces you left behind in the cluttered museum of my mind. It's the little things that break you, not the mountains but the stone. The way the habit of you lives inside my bone. You sent as a ghost in the hallway rug, the ghost of a laugh, the ghost of a hug. The light bulb flickered and finally died. I sat in the dark and I stayed inside. I'm waiting for the moment to feel like a man, but I'm just a boy with a broken plan. I'm collecting the pieces you left behind in the cluttered museum of my mind. It's the little things that break you, not the mountains but the stones. The way the habit of you lives inside my bones. I used to think that love was a fire, a burning, screaming, high-wire desire. But it's just the dishes and the way you sleep, is the promises we're too tired to keep. The little things that save you, not the mountains but the stones. The way the memory of you slowly leaves my bones. An upright piano with the practice felt engaged, making it sound very muffled and warm. Symbol A to a movement. The moon is blue on the bedroom wall. I'm listening for your keys in the hall, but the floorboards only creak for the wind, and the places where the carpet's thin. I'm tracing the lines of a life we sketched before the ink was ever etched. The night is an ocean, wide and deep, and I am a secret I can't even keep. Peace is a heavy thing to hold when the other hand is gone. but it's only for one. The race is over before it's begun. I bought the bread that you used to like, then remembered I'm alone on this high. The house is breathing, slow and steady. I'm waiting to feel like I'm finally ready. The night is an ocean, wide and deep, and I am a secret I can't even keep. Oh, peace is a heavy thing to hold when the other hand is gone. It's a different kind of cold in the blue before the dawn. I'm not angry, I'm just empty, like a vessel at the shore. I don't need the noise or the fury, I don't need the war anymore. Peace is a beautiful thing to hold, even when the hand is gone. I'm learning to brave the cold in the blue before the dawn. The sunlight's cutting through the living room, revealing all the things we never cleaned. The ghost of your perfume, the winter gloom, the spaces where the memories have leaned. I found a receipt in an old coat pocket for a dinner that we both forgot to eat. And the silence isn't empty, it's a weight, a heavy hand upon the garden gate. It's just so quiet now, it's just so quiet now. The house is learning how to breathe without you underneath. The neighbor's dog is barking at the fence, a sound that usually made you lose your head. But now it doesn't make a lick of sense to feel the anger we already shed. The toothpaste tube is squeezed down to the bone, a monument to being on my own. I thought the noise was what defined our life, the friction and the sparks of being us. But the metal's gone, and so is all the strife. And all that's left is rust and settling dust. I'm finally hearing my own heartbeat. It's just so quiet now, it's just so quiet now. The house is learning how to breathe, and I'm learning not to leave.
black as black from some forgotten night. I remember how the flame would dance and swirl, back when we had stories left to tell. Now the wax is hard, a frozen, stagnant lake, holding over light we didn't take. The matchbox is empty on the shelf, and I'm just trying to recognize myself. Wait for the smoke to clear, wait for the ghost to disappear. It's just a room, it's just a chair, it's just the absence in the air. Yeah, I left you half of the closet, mostly bare, save for a hanger and a strand of hair. The floorboards don't complain the way they used to, when I was always running back to choose you. The air is stagnant, the windows locked up tight, I'm safe from any flicker of the light. Maybe the fire was the hardest part to keep, burning through the hours we should have been asleep. I'm finding peace in the middle of the grind, where the embers finally look the other way. Wait for the smoke to clear, wait for the ghost to disappear. It's just a room, it's just a chair, and I'm finally standing there.
The pot's been sitting since the break of dawn, a muddy brown with all the flavor gone. I didn't have the heart to pour it down the drain. It felt like washing out a part of the pain. The steam is gone, the porcelain is cold, like every single promise that we sold. I'm staring at the ring inside the cup, waiting for the sun to give it up. I'm just sitting in the after, I'm just listening for the laughter, but the echoes are all spent. This is where the feeling went. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
The kitchen clock is ticking out of time, a slow and rhythmic, unpoetic crime. I bought the brand of beans you always hated, just to see if I felt liberated. But it tastes like paper in the morning rain, and a hollow kind of victory in my brain.
listening for the laughter, but the echoes are all spent. I know exactly where we went. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Sitting in the after, I'm just listening for the laughter, but the echoes are all spent. I know exactly where we went. Oh, delicate Dolby piano in 3/4. It sounds like a music box that's slowly winding down. The sheets are pulled tight on the left-hand side, a place for all the things I used to hide. But the right is tangled, a mess of cotton seeds, where I'm still searching for some kind of ease. I found a bobby pin tucked in the seam, the sharpest part of a reoccurring dream. The cold reaches over the middle line, reminding me that only this is mine. There's so much space for one, now that the race is done. I'm sleeping in the center, where no one else can enter. Now that the race is done, I'm sleeping in the center. I'm the only one who can answer. The TV's humming with the sound turned down, a gray and white reflection of the town. I'm watching images of rain in France, while I'm just waiting for a second chance. The tea is lukewarm in the heavy mug, I'm wrapped in the static of a thread rug. There's no one here to ask me what I'm thinking, and I'm just watching as the light is sinking. This is the stillness, this is the end of the noise. This is the gravity returning to the boys. The mail is sitting on the entry floor, I haven't opened up the sliding door. I'm worried if I let the breeze inside, I'll lose the place where I begun to hide. The silence is a garden growing tall, hiding all the writing on the hallway wall. I thought I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs, using all the poison on our bitter tongues. But I'm just a mountain after the slide, quietly watching the turn of the tide. This is the stillness, this is the end of the noise. This is the gravity, I'm finally finding my poise. This is the stillness, this is the end of the noise. This is the gravity, I'm finally finding my Spars a bright piano melody, the keys are hit softly enough to hear the internal felt dampers. The low C note rings out as the stained pedal is held. Your coffee ring is dried into the wood, a map of where a conversation stood. I haven't moved a stack of Sunday news, or shaking out the sand from in your shoes. The coat rack holds your heavy winter wool, the closet's empty yet it feels so full. And I'm just watching how the shadows crawl across the empty photos on the wall. It's just so quiet now. It's just so quiet now. The loudest thing I've ever heard is the wee unspoken word. Yeah, it's just so quiet now. Neighbors mow hums a mile away, a normal sound for such a hollow day. I found a grocery list inside the drawer for things we don't need buying anymore. settle on for only one and watch the steam dissolve into the sun. I used to pray for 5 minutes of peace, for all the static and the noise to cease. Silence is a different kind of war. I never knew what I was asking for. It's just so quiet now. It's just so quiet now. The loudest thing I've ever heard is the ghost of every word. Yeah, it's just so quiet now. It's just so quiet now. Floorboard creak, and then nothing. There's a hairline crack inside the breakfast bowl, a little jagged canyon in the hole. I found your toothbrush by the bathroom sink. I sat down on the tile to try and think. The minty scent is fading from the air, like the memory of your fingers in my head. The clock is ticking like a heavy heart, watching all the furniture fall apart. The peace is a heavy thing. Peace is a heavy thing. I'm learning how to stand up straight inside this newly hollow way. Just porcelain thing. The mail is stacking by the front door mat. I haven't had the heart to look at that. Your name in ink is like a sudden sting, a sharp reminder of a vanished thing. The cat is sleeping on your side of the bed, where all the loves and sorries were once said. Maybe we're just vessels made of clay, holding water till it leaks away. I don't miss the fire or the sparks, I just miss your breathing in the dark. Peace is a heavy thing. Peace is a heavy thing. I'm learning how to stand up straight in the middle of this way. Just porcelain and dust rain. book you start its face down on the rug, next to the handle of a broken mug. Page 94 is where you left the light before you walked out into Tuesday night. The bookmark is a ribbon made of blue, the only thing that's left of what was true. The ink is dry, the story's at a stand, waiting for the pressure of your hand. It's just so still. It's just so still. The world is turning outside the door, but I don't hear it anymore. Oh. Yeah. The curtains haven't moved an inch all day. The sky outside is turning bruised and gray. You thought I'd feel a scream inside my chest, but all I feel is a desperate need for rest. The silence is a garden overgrown in a house that I've never really known. I forgot that I'm a person on my own. I forgot the way a quiet house is known. It's not a tragedy, it's not a crime, it's just the slow, cold passing of the time. It's just so still. The world is turning outside the door, but I'm not in it anymore.
Keep the page turned, keep the page turned. Keep the page turned, keep the page
I left the window open just a crack to see if any of the air came back. The smell of rain and asphalt on the street is mingling with the smell of unmade sheet. The traffic sounds like waves against a pier. It's the only conversation I can hear. I'm counting all the cracks along the ceiling, mapping out the logic of this feeling. I'm fine with the quiet, I'm fine with the space. I'm learning the lies of an empty place. The quiet. Yeah, I'll take it.
The fridge is humming a low and lonely beat, the only one who's talking back to me. I found your earring underneath the bed, a little silver spark of something dead. I put it in a box and closed the lid, wishing I could hide
screaming high-octane desire, but it's just a draft that's blowing through the hall, and the sound of nothing at all. I'm fine with the quiet, I'm fine with the space, I'm fine in the light, in an empty place. I have the breeze in. Let the breeze in.
TV's on, but the volume's down to zero. I'm watching the silent struggle of a hero. The blue lights flicker against your chair, like you're still sitting, waiting for me there. I haven't turned the heater on today. I'm trying to see how long the cold will escape. The static is a blanket for my head, a substitute for everything you said. It's finally over, it's finally done. I'm watching the moon, pretend it's the sun. To the kitchen and I walk back again, wondering when, and now becomes the then. The shadows on the rug are getting long.
well dampened upright, and it plays a slow ascending C major arpeggio. You can hear the mechanical thud of the certain pedal release. The sunlight's cutting through the living room, revealing all the things we never cleaned. The ghost of your perfume, the winter gloom, the spaces where the memories have lain. I found a receipt in an old cold pocket for dinner that we both forgot to eat. And the silence isn't empty, it's a weight, a heavy hand upon the garden gate. It's just so quiet now, it's just so quiet now. The house is learning how to breathe without you underneath. Oh, I thought the noise was what defined our life, the friction and the sparks of being us. But the metal's gone and so is all the strife, and all that's left is rust and settling dust. I'm finally hearing my own heartbeat, a final dissonant C major rings out until the sound decays into room hits. The inventory's done. The candle on the mantel's cold and white, the wick is black from some forgotten night. I remember how the flame would dance and swell, back when we had stories left to tell. Now the wax is harder frozen, stagnant late, holding all the light we didn't take. Wait for the smoke to clear, wait for the ghost to disappear. It's just a room and it's just a chair, it's just the absence in the air. Maybe the fire was the hardest part to keep, burning through the hours we should have been asleep. I'm finding peace in the middle of the grave, where the embers finally look the other way. Guitar fades out on a slow and chord, dissolving to a softer. No more smoke. Song 3, stale coffee, the mess that never called me love me. BPM 64, G major time sinking back. Steam is gone on the pulse and it's cold, like every single promise that was sold. I'm just sitting in the laughter, I'm just listening for the laughter, but the echoes are all spent. This is where the feeling went. The bitter notes are all I have to taste, to make sure that the year wasn't a waste. I'd rather have the burn than nothing at all. and the hollow sound of shadows on the wall. Sit down on a wooden table, followed by a final piano. Delicate elaborate piano in 3/4. It sounds like a music box that's slowly winding down. The sheets are pulled tight on the left-hand side, a place for all the things I used to hide. But the right is tangled, a mess of cotton seed, where I'm still searching for some kind of ease. I found a bobby pin tucked in the seam, the sharpest part of a recurring dream. It's so much space for one, now that the race is done. I'm sleeping in the center, where no one else can enter. Yeah. I used to is better than this wide open, terrifying abyss. A single thumb pick, a note on a guitar, repeated until it stops. Sound 5 static on the glass, days peaceful on the bug. I read you humming with the sound turned down, a gray and white reflection of the town. I'm watching images of rain in France, while I'm just waiting for a second chance. The tea is lukewarm in the heavy mug. I'm wrapped in the static of a threadbare rug. This is the stillness. This is the end of the noise. This is the gravity returning to the boys. I thought I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs, using all the poison on our bitter tongues, but I'm just a mountain after the slide, quietly watching the turn of the tide. significantly. The final sound is the mechanical noise of the piano, dampers hitting the strings.
Molecules are shifting in the air. Subtracting every trait that you were there. The sound of cedar, the salt upon your skin is buzzing out to where the walls begin. I'm measuring the time it takes to fade from the center of the promises we made. I'm just watching the decay. Everything is turning gray. It's a quiet kind of leaving. It's a quiet kind of grieving.
Yeah, there's no explosion, there's no big bang, just the way the heavy silence rain. I'm a shadow in an empty hole, learning how to be nothing at all.
A single G note on the piano. Plays softer and softer until it's just the sound of the finger touching the key. The pattern on the pane, a blurry map of everything mundane. I can't see the street or the neighbor's light, just the smear of the ending of the night. I haven't reached to wipe the glass away. I'm not ready for a clear and honest day. Let it stay blurry, there's no need to hurry. The world is too sharp for this broken heart. I used to want to see everything so plain, to label every loss and every gain. But there's a mercy in the out of focus view when I'm looking for a version of you. Stay blurry. Stay blurry.
I singled across the guitar, played with a light touch, lots of space between the strums. I dropped my keys upon the entry floor and heard them ring like they never did before. The sound just traveled up the wooden stairs and sat down in the empty bedroom chairs. This house has grown 1,000 feet in height since you took the heavy parts into the night. Everything is louder now, everything is louder now. The ticking of the clock, the turning of the lock, yeah. I didn't know your voice was such a shield, protecting me from everything I feel. Now the wind is whistling through the door, and I can't hide behind you anymore. Guitar fades to a single note plug. The books are leaning where you pulled one out. A gap that looks a lot like sudden doubt. I'm fulfillitizing all the years we spent. Wonder where the happy chapters went. I found a pressed flower in a sleeve from a day we didn't want to leave. It's a very quiet story with no crown and no glory, just a sudden change in tone and a house I call my own. I'm reading all the notes you left in the back, tracking all the things that we seem to lack. It's a different ending than the one I read, but I'll keep the volume by the bed. The bright piano with a practice felt engaged, making it sound muffled and warm. Simple letter E movement. The moon is blue on the bedroom moon. The moon is blue on the bedroom wall. I'm listening for your keys in the hall, but the floorboards only creak for the wind, and the places where the carpet's thin. I'm tracing the lines of a life we sketched before the ink was ever etched. Peace is a heavy thing to hold when the other hand is gone. It to the room noise, just the blue. There's a rectangular ghost on the bedroom wall where the framed map of London used to hang. The dust has settled everywhere but there, a pale reminder of the geography we shared. I'm learning the math of a kitchen for one, counting the seconds the kettle takes to scream. Floorboards groan under the weight of the quiet like I'm missing the scuff of your boot. It's not the leaving that breaks the bone, it's the space you left behind in the stone. The air is heavy, the light it is thin. I'm just the frame that the house lives in. The center, cedar and old library book still clings to the hem of your favorite coat. I moved it to the hallway, then back to the closet, a pendulum swinging in a cold dark hall. The shadows stretch longer than they did in July. And I wonder if the walls in your new place are wide and clean and hollow. Do they know the sound of your name? Yeah. Or are they still waiting for the ink to dry? Yeah, it's not the leaving that breaks the bone, it's the space you left behind in the stone. The air is heavy, the light is thin. I'm just the frame that the house lives in, and the windows are rattling again. Salt shaker still sitting on the left side of the stove. Next to that jar of honey that's crystallized into gold. The radiator hums a flat beat naturally in the hall, and there's a pale rectangle on the blue paint of the wall where your frame map of the city used to hang. Now it's just a ghost of a place where we once sang. I'm walking softer than I used to, afraid I'll wake the silence you left none, but I left one of your socks in the bin. A gray wool witness to the state I'm currently in. The smell of cedar and rainy pavement on the glass is the only thing that hasn't let the winter pass. I found a receipt for a coffee we shared in July. The ink is fading just like the blue in your eye. Maybe the house is just breathing out the years of oxygen we took for granted. I'm pulling the weeds in the garden we planted, but the soil is cold and the roots are all dried. I'm just counting what's missing. I'm just naming the space. It's the weight of the air in the shape of your face. Everything's here, but I'm just a ghost in the hall. I'm just counting what's missing. I'm just naming the space. It's the weight of the air in the shape of your face. Everything's here, but I'm just a ghost in the fine on acoustic guitar chord, allowed to ring out until it disappears into the sound of the radiator hum. The kitchen's cold at 3 in the morning, but I can see that blue flame flicking under the grate. A tiny heart of fire that never goes out, even when the rest of the house is drowning in doubt. I'm sitting on the linoleum in my old flannel shirt, pressing my palms to the tile till they start to hurt. Oh, oh. There's a quiet kind of stare, a stubborn way to glow. You're the pilot light in the dark of me, the small blue truth I can finally see when the wind bellows in and the windows all shake. You're the one part of us that didn't quite break. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got cracks in the ceiling and a leak in the sink, and more unspoken words than we'd ever want to think. But I saw you today, checking the mail in the rain, and for a second I forgot the rhythm of the pain. You still leave the porch light on when I'm late coming home. It doesn't take a forest fire to keep the rooms warm. It doesn't take a tragedy to survive the storm. Just this little blue flicker, steady and small, steady and small. You're the pilot light in the dark of me, the small blue truth I can finally see when the wind bellows in and the windows all shake. You're the one part of us that did finger kid with some lead and a soldering iron, sitting at the table with a heart like a flattened tire. There's a jagged hole in the pane by the front door, where the argument landed and shattered on the floor. I'm picking up the green bits and the shards of the blue, trying to remember the color of you. My hands are shaking, the metal is hot. I'm trying to be something I'm probably not, but the light looks different when it's been broken, like a secret that finally had to be spoken. The scars in the glass make the patterns more deep, and the beauty is something we actually get to keep. Ooh, yeah. The shoulder is messy and it smells like a workshop. I'm waiting for the spinning in my head to just stop. I look through the red piece at the trees in the yard. Everything is bleeding, but it isn't so hard. I'm smoothing the edges so nobody gets cut. Oh yeah. It'll never be a mirror, it'll never be clear, but I can see the sunset from right over here, and the colors are dancing all over your skin. Yeah, the light looks different when it's been broken, like a secret that finally had to be spoken. The scars in the glass make the patterns more deep, and the beauty is something we actually get to keep. It's the only thing left worth trying to keep. The guitar plays the D major chord, but keeps the G string open to create a sense of lingering mystery. I can hear the ocean in the receiver today. Or maybe it's just the miles we put in the way. You're describing the weather in a city I've never seen, and I'm watching the laundry turn around in the machine. The signal drops out when you start to say my name, and I'm left with a hum of a flickering flame. Are you still there? Or am I talking to the air? Yeah. There's too much static on the line tonight. I can't find the words to make it feel right. We're two satellites drifting out of the first date or passing through a copper gate. You laughed at a joke that I didn't even tell. I guess the delay is a special kind of hell. I'm looking at your thumbprint on the screen of my phone. I trade 1,000 minutes of this digital gold for 1 second of something I actually could hold. But the battery's dying and the screen's turning black. Oh, there's too much static on the line tonight. I can't find the words to make it feel right. We're two satellites drifting out of the range, and the silence between us to feel strange. There's a slab of oak leaning against the garage wall, waiting for the legs I promised I'd build last fall. The grain is like a map of a life we haven't lived, full of knobs and the secrets that the forest wouldn't give. I spent the afternoon sanding the rough parts away, getting dust in my lungs and turning my head gray. My hands are calloused and my back is sore, but I'm finally seeing what the wood is for. We're just unfinished, we're just a work in progress, living in the middle of a beautiful mess. It takes a little time and a whole lot of grit to find the center and make the pieces fit. That's the color of a rainy afternoon. I'm gonna apply it with a rag and a silver spoon. You came out with water and a smudge on your cheek, and we didn't have to say a single word for a week. The surface is getting smooth enough to reflect the sky. It might wobble a bit on the uneven floor, but it's stronger than anything you'd buy at the store, because we carved our name into the underside. Yeah, we're just unfinished, we're just a work in progress, living in the middle of a beautiful mess. It takes a little time and a whole lot of grit to find the center and make the pieces fit. Yeah, we're making it fit. Yeah, we're making it fit, yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, still making it fit. A final acoustic guitar riff and the sound of a workshop door closing. The kitchen is bathed in that flickery yellow hum, the kind that says the filament is nearly done. I'm sitting on the counter where the grout is chipped, watching the way your tea bag hasn't dripped. The shadow of the fridge stretches out to the door, like a dark water stain on the linoleum floor. It's getting harder to see where the hallway ends, and where the silence of this house begins. We're burning out in the slow way, waiting for the pop and the sudden gray. I'm reaching for the switch, but I'm scared of the dark, scared of the cold where there used to be a spark. I bought a 4-pack of LEDs at the store today. They're sitting in the trunk of the car in the driveway. If I change the bulb, does it change the room, or just illuminate the dust and the coming doom? I found your hair tied, tangled in the silverware drawer. Maybe the dimming is a mercy of grace, so I don't have to see the lines on your face that tell me you're already halfway down the street. We're burning out in the slow way, waiting for the pop and the sudden gray. I'm reaching for the switch, but I'm scared of the dark, scared of the cold where there used to be a spark. And the glass is getting too hot to touch. Found a roll of film in a shoebox of yours, behind the winter coats and the locked cellar doors. It's a dark little ribbon of things we forgot, a chemical ghost of a life that we thought would develop in color, would sharpen in time, but the edges are blurry and the mountains won't climb us. I'm holding it up to the light of the stove, searching for the pieces of the girl that I love. where the world was all wet. You're wearing that sweater I haven't burned yet. Your eyes are two pinpricks of white in the black, like you're looking at something that isn't coming back. The developer smells like a hospital hall. Some things are better left in the dark before the light leaves its permanent mark. Once it's exposed, it can never be changed as a negative, waiting for the sun to prove that the damage hasn't begun. Hold your breath while the image pulls through. In the silver and the salt, I'm still looking for you. And I'm terrified of what I'll find. Terrified of what I'll find. The guitar bird just slows down. The last note is the sound of a finger sliding off the string. A squeak left in the mix. Very slow, very slow, sparse pianos, lots of space between the notes. It sounds like someone figured out a melody for the first time.
The floorboards are cold, but the duvet is heavy. I'm watching the rise of your chest, slow and steady. It's the only clock left in this house that still works, ignoring the shadows where the loneliness lurks.
The radiator clicks like a heart with a secret.
And I have a promise, but I don't think I'll keep it.
The window is frosted, the moon is a bone. I've never felt more or less on my own. It's just oxygen in and then carbon out. The simplest thing to be worried about. But if you stop for a second, the world stops too. I'm building a cathedral out of breathing with you. Out a finger to touch your left wrist, to feel the small engine that the winter has missed. You stir in your sleep and you mutter a name. It isn't mine, but it hurts just the same. The scent of your shampoo is a lavender and dust. I could wake you up and ask what you meant, find out we're all about forever when. But the silence is peaceful and the silence is kind. There's a silence is kind and the silence is kind. It's just oxygen in and then carbon out. The simplest thing to be worried about. But if you stop for a second, the world stops too. I'm building a cathedral out of breathing with you. And I'll stay here until the sun breaks through. Sound of one deep audible exhale from the singer, then a final D major chord on the piano. The screen is too bright for a room this dark. Blue light carving out a question mark. I've typed out I miss you and I'm sorry 10 times, deleting the truth and the rhythm and rhymes. 3 little dots appear and they go like a pulse on a monitor, steady and slow. My thumb is a trigger, the send is the end of being a stranger and being a friend. I'm living in the space between delivered and real, in the graveyard of all the things we never said. It's a digital hunger, a cold kind of blue, waiting for a ghost to tell me what to do. I look at your photo, you're squinting at the sun. Before we were over, before we were done, your battery's dying, or you put down the phone. Either way, I am sitting in this kitchen alone. The ice in my glass makes a lonely sharp sound. There's no undo for the heart, no delete, no way to stay dry. Midsummer heat, I'm staring at the online status like a prayer. I'm living in the space between delivered and read, in the graveyard of all the things we never said. It's a digital hunger, a cold kind of blue, waiting for a ghost to tell me what to do. And I'm still waiting for the red to turn blue. Waiting for the heart to tell me. The record is spinning, but the song is all gone. Just the hiss of the death from the dusk until dawn. It's a comforting sound, like a radio seat, filling the holes where your voice used to be.
haven't moved the needle in 3 days or 4. I just like the way it sounds against the 4. It's the music of nothing, the hint of the end, the sound of a heart that forgot how to bend. Give me the static, give me the noise, better than the ghost of your beautiful voice. Let the crackle and pop wash the memory clean of the person I was and the places we've been. The couch hasn't been done where you used to sit. I've been trying my best not to fall into it. The coffee is cold and the windows are stained, and I think for a moment that it finally rained. But it's just the record reaching the end of the side. Flip it over, start it again. The scratch in the middle is an old honest friend. It skips on the part where we used to dance. Give me the static, give me the noise, better than the ghost of your beautiful voice. Let the crackle and pop wash the memory clean of the person I was and the places we've been. I'm just waiting for the music to begin. I'm just waiting for the music to begin. The piano fades out slowly, leaving only the sound of the record crackling. The crackle continues for 5 seconds, then a mechanical click as the player turns off.
It's been sitting in the ceramic bowl by the door, tangled in paper clips and receipts from the grocery store. A jagged bit of brass with a plastic neon ring. It doesn't open doors, it doesn't do a thing. But I can't bring myself to toss it in the bin. The only way I have left of letting you back in. The metal is cold, it's lost the heat of your palm. The quiet in the hallway is a heavy kind of calm. I'm just a house with a lock that's grown stuck, waiting for a turn, waiting for some luck. You gave it back like it was just a piece of tin, but it's the weight of the world I'm currently in. I saw you today in the reflection of a shot. I almost called your name, but I forced my heart to stop. You were wearing that coat with the missing middle button, looking like a memory, looking like a someone. The key in my pocket felt like it was burning through. Maybe I the past a little push, or maybe I'll keep it until the grass turns to rust. I'm just a house with a lock that's grown stuck, waiting for a turn, waiting for some love. You gave it back like it was just a piece of tin, but it's the weight of the world I'm currently in, and the door is still bolted from within. The guitar pattern slows down until it's just a thumb hitting the low G string. Fades to the sound of a door clicking shut. There's a sweet heavy scent coming off the windowsill, where the sun hits the layers that we couldn't kill. I'm picking at a flake with the edge of my nail, watching the white turn to yellow and pale. We knew it was toxic when we moved in the bed, but we liked the way it looked, well, that's what we said. It's beautiful and dangerous, a poison in the wall, waiting for a crack, waiting for the fall. We're just breathing in what we should have torn down, building a palace in a ghost of a town. I love you in the way that makes a person sick, one coat at a time, until it's too thick. The landlord said he'd send it back to the grain, but the dust gets in your lungs and it stays in your brain. I see you through the haze of a Saturday light, scrubbing at the stains in the middle of the night. We're just covering up what we can't quite erase. Strip it all back to the cedar and the pine. Show me the parts that are yours and are mine. Is there anything honest underneath all the white? We're just breathing in what we should have torn down, building a palace in a ghost of a town. I love you in the way that makes a person sick, one coat at a time, until it's too thick, and the walls are starting to lick. acoustic guitar. If you find it's all aging, the time outside fire, watching us in the dark. I'm sitting on the tiles with a glass of tap water, thinking all the things that we never should have offered. If the wind catches the dry from the crack in the pane, we'll be left in the soot and the smell of the rain. I'm shielding the flame with the palm of my hand, trying to make sense of the life we had planned. Don't let the pilot light go out tonight. I'm not ready for the cold, I'm not ready for the white. It's a small blue truth in a world of gray lies. The only thing keeping the heat in your eyes, in your eyes. It's been flickering for weeks, it's been gasping for air, but as long as it's burning, I know that you're there. Even if the house is empty, even if the cupboards are bare. The sound of a match being struck, a single Oldie chord on the guitar. The record is spinning, but the music is done. With just a hiss of the dust and the morning sun. The needle is stuck in a groove by the end. Repetitive scratch like a broken down friend. I haven't moved to lift it, I haven't moved at all. Just watching the shadows climb up the hole. It's the sound of the space where the song used to be. The static is singing a ballad to me. There's no more melody, no more rhyme, just the rhythm of losing you one bit at a time. The piano fades, leaving only the sound of the record crackle for 10 seconds. Da 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 da. The sound of a vinyl record crackling, the warm bluesy piano starts to slow. The record is spinning, the sound of a vinyl record crackling.
record is spinning. The record is spinning. The record is spinning. The sound of a vinyl. Sound of a vinyl record crackling. The record is spinning. The record is spinning. The record is spinning, but the music is done. The record is spinning, but the music is done. The record is spinning. The record is spinning to the sound of a vinyl record. The sound of a vinyl record crackling. The record is spinning. The record is spinning. The sound of a vinyl record. The sound of a vinyl record with a sound of a vinyl record crackling. The record is spinning. The sound of a vinyl.
Fridge hums like it knows the hour. Light spills thin across the tile. Your coffee cup still on the counter. Lipstick fading on the side. I trace the ring it left in silence, like it might tell me why. And I keep waiting for your footsteps, like the door might change its mind. You were the last light in the kitchen, the quiet glow I leaned into. Now every room just echoes different, since all the warmth belonged to you. I leave the hallway bulb half burning, like somehow you'll come walking through. Oh, yeah. The clock forgets to move without you. Or maybe I just stopped it here. Your sweater still holds on to something that smells like smoke and cedar air. I press my face into the fabric, like I can make you reappear. And every shadow looks like motion, till I remember you're not there. You were the last light in the kitchen, the quiet glow I leaned into. Now every room just echoes different, since all the warmth belonged to you. I leave the hallway bulb half burning, like somehow you'll come walking through. Yeah, maybe love's just what lingers after someone's gone, and not the fire or the feeling, but the shape it leaves on every corner of a moment we thought we could keep. You were the last light in the kitchen, the quiet glow I leaned into. Now every room just echoes different, since all the warmth belonged to you. I leave the hallway bulb half burning, and I still talk like you'll answer answer to. Soft piano resolves, guitar fades. Final lyric whispered. I haven't turned the light off yet. You folded words like paper boats, set them drifting in the sea. I watched them circle around the drain while you refused to speak. The faucet running just to learn everything we could to keep. And I kept reaching for your hand, but you were already letting go. We were paper boats in water, never meant to stay afloat. Every little leak between us sank the things we never spoke. Now the silence fills the kitchen, like a tide we cannot run. Yeah, you fall reflection in the window, look like someone I don't know. You dried your hands on old excuses that we both had outgrown. I tried to fix what kept unraveling, the thread didn't only hold so long. And the drain kept pulling under everything we tried to say. We were paper boats in water, never meant to stay afloat. Every little leak between us sank the things we never spoke. Now the silence fills the kitchen, like a tide we can't outrun. Maybe we were just too careful not to say the things that hurt, and in keeping everything gentle, we just made it worse. We were paper boats in water, never meant to stay afloat. Every little leak between us sank the things we never spoke. Now the silence fills the kitchen, You stood beneath the platform sign with your coat pulled to your chin. Said you'd only wait a minute, but you stayed through everything. I was running through excuses while the doors were closing in, and the lights kept flashing warnings I pretended not to see. The train never stops here, not for hearts like ours. It just keeps on moving through the quiet parts. I was always almost with you, never quite on time. Now I hear it passing every single night.
You left your ticket on the bench, like a message I could read. But I folded in my pocket like it didn't mean a thing. Now it burns inside my jacket every time I try to sleep. And the tracks keep on softly like they're calling out your name. Ooh, yeah.
The train never stops here, not for hearts like ours. It just keeps on moving through the quiet parts. I was always almost with you, never quite on time. Now I hear it passing every single night. If I ran a little faster, if I said the things I hid, would you still be standing there, or did I already miss it? Oh. The train never stops here, not for hearts like ours. It just keeps on moving through the quiet parts. I was always almost with you, now I'm left behind. Listen to forever rolling down the
Train sound fades in a distance. Soft guitar resolves, final whisper. You waited longer than I deserve.